Hi my loves, welcome back. This is the Dark Feminine Activation Part 2. We're going to be talking more about energy links and boundaries and why this dark feminine energy is so important for us to integrate and embody. And I had a whole outline planned for this, but I'm just going to riff, honestly, because that's what Hekate wants. All of this is coming from Hekate, okay? I'm just the vehicle, I'm just the vessel. I have my Destiny Diagnostics quiz, and that is basically a free questionnaire, very short, that based on your response, it tells you if your path is being blocked, siphoned, rerouting, or activating. And literally, 95% of submissions from women right now on that quiz are saying the same thing. We feel exhausted, we feel like people are pulling on their energy, we feel siphoned from, we feel drained, we feel like we're over-giving and under-receiving. Like, this is a big feminine issue right now. It's always been an issue. But what's happening right now is collectively the feminine is feeling very tired and drained, and she's under-resourced in many different ways. And the dark feminine and energies like Hekate are trying to empower us, okay? And boundaries are the number one way to not only identify a predator, but repel them. And boundaries are also the number one way to minimize energy leaks, okay? And I'm going to give y'all an example of this in confirmation. So, earlier today, or yesterday, actually, it's 4 a.m. right now, I got a comment on one of my destiny swapping videos saying basically that my destiny swapping course is, quote, disgusting, that I'm an energy leak myself for charging for information that is actually our spiritual birthright. And I just laughed when I saw this comment because it's very ironic and it's very contradictory. The person made that comment on one of my multiple free videos, basically saying it's not enough and that I don't deserve to be compensated for my work. When y'all haters leave these comments, even if they're only 2 or 3 sentences, you guys don't understand. I can read you like a book. Your language and your wording and your energy behind all that tells me everything that I need to know about who you are as a person. And people like that, with this nasty sense of entitlement, are not my target audience or my ideal clients whatsoever. And it's just confirmation of my message to y'all. The number one way to prevent siphoners and predators is boundaries. They hate it. Predators are very entitled. And I knew instinctively and intuitively days ago when I started putting out all this dark feminine content that there was going to be resistance and there was going to be opposition and haters. Because I am doing my honest effort and my divine service to help dismantle this programming within the feminine that makes us accessible to siphoning. Okay? And this concept of spiritual knowledge being our birthright is crazy to me. Why is it fair? So you're basically saying that it's fair for me to have earned this knowledge that I'm giving to y'all in the course through blood, pain, sweat, tears, and suffering, no exaggeration. And it took me years to give y'all everything that I'm giving you in one course, in an organized, clear, structured, helpful way, that it's fair for me to go through all that, but you should get that knowledge for free. No. Especially if you know in your heart that your calling is to be some type of spiritual leader or teacher, you have to have boundaries. And yes, we should do charity and do divine service. That's all my free content is. I put out so much free content. I don't just do YouTube. I do my email list and threads. And I specifically stopped giving a fuck about Instagram and TikTok because I hate the energy of those platforms and the people on there. They're superficial, they're entitled, they want quick fixes, and they want everything for nothing, and they consume information, and they don't even do the work. And even if they do the rituals and witchcraft, they're not willing to do an ounce of inner work so that they can actually hold their manifestations. They're takers. As a feminine businesswoman, you have to structure your business and your content and your messaging and your systems in a way that targets buyers, not takers. There's always going to be takers. There's always going to be people that don't buy, and that's fine. My free content, that's my service to God and the feminine collective, to help women and in turn children and the future generations. The work that I do is for 7 generations forward and 7 generations back. But when you have worked tirelessly for something, you don't give it up so easily. You know? And even though I'm giving generously in this destiny swapping and dark feminine content, I still have that boundary of, if you want the ritual and witchcraft tutorials, if you want the deep inner work and transformation, you have to invest in yourself and get the course. That's a boundary. And, you know, at first, I'm not gonna lie, did it sting? Yeah. I'm a human being. I don't like being hated on. But then I sat and I reflected and I asked my guides, I'm like, what's the point of this? And they said, it's just confirmation of your message that boundaries prevent predators. And that person is a fucking predator. Because you're wanting to take from me and saying it's your birthright. Bitch, if it's your birthright, Google is free. YouTube is free. Have fun duct taping a million videos together. A course is an organized structure so that it saves you time, energy, effort, and sometimes spiritual ass whoopings. I'm making this course for women that are dealing with destiny swapping and people trying to throw them off their path. I'm making my course for them so that they can move through it quick and fast and as easily as possible and a lot quicker and smoother than I did. So that they don't have to go through all the bullshit that I did. I'm paying it forward. I'm paying it forward in the name of God and the divine and my spirit team and higher self that kept me alive through all that bullshit. My course is my offering to my clients and students, and it's also an offering to God and the divine feminine and divine masculine. It's me saying, thank you for keeping me here. Thank you for keeping me alive. Because my enemies did not want that. I'm saying I'm still here. I'm still in good shape. I'm thriving. I'm embodying what I'm teaching, and I'm going to pay it forward. But only to a certain extent before they have to invest. That's a boundary. It's a loving boundary, but it's a boundary nonetheless. And as a spiritual businesswoman, you have to have boundaries. I'm going to tell y'all something that my godfather told me about 4 years ago. I think it was the 9th that I got adopted, because we did my Apollo adoption ceremony from me having a botched initiation. If y'all have ever seen that TV series Botched, that's what happened to me spiritually, and my godparents that I now have, they fixed it. But it was after my adoption, and my godparents sat down and they were just telling me things that they wanted me to know. He said, when it comes to charging for spiritual work, you need to charge a price that's fair to you and that takes care of you and whatever spirits you're working with. Because if 10 people come to you and you give the previous 9 people discounts, on that 10th person that really needs the help and is deserving of it, you're not going to be well resourced to help them. And I will never forget that, and it has stuck with me. Did I always embody that? No, it took me a long time. But after enough bullshit, I learned. And after me putting enough work into my spiritual path, I learned. That's the thing about most people. They want the results, spiritual and otherwise, but they're not willing to put in the work or the money. They just want the gift. That's what a predator is. That's what a destiny swapper is. They want your blessings. They want your path, your calling. But they don't want all the hard work that you put in physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually to get there. No. No. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. And, you know, when you set boundaries, you're going to encounter resistance and opposition and hate. Because when a woman finally embodies her boundaries, she doesn't just do it for herself. It creates a ripple effect in the collective of women. Because you being in your power and having those boundaries and not wavering regardless of the resistance, it shows other women that they can do the same thing, and the world doesn't end. And the easiest way to identify a predator is set a boundary. I gave this example, I think, in part 1 of with men. If you're entertaining a new man, and he starts, either pressuring you for sex, or trying to manipulate and convince you and coerce you into it, and you hold that boundary of, no, I only am going to be intimate with my long-term partner or my husband. I'm not ready for that because we're not there yet. And you say it just like that, calm, clear, grounded, neutral, kind, and he flips the fuck out. That's a predator. A good man will respect your boundaries. And one that doesn't, he won't, because he just wants to get in and out. Literally. And it's not an easy thing to do. Especially when you really care about someone. It hurts. But you have to have boundaries with yourself first and foremost. If you decide that if this person does X, Y, and Z, I'm going to cut them off, and they do X, Y, and Z, and you don't repeatedly, yes, you should be upset with them because they are habitual boundary violators, but you should also not be upset with yourself, but lovingly hold yourself accountable. Because you're the one not cutting them off and allowing them to keep crossing that boundary. And I've been there. I'm not judging you. I say this from a place of love and lived experience. It took me a fucking long time to embody what I'm teaching you right now. A long time. And too many ass whoopings and knee scrapings. Okay? I had to cut off my own mother. Do y'all know how not only difficult but unnatural that is? Because I'm not supposed to have to do that. It's against our wiring. But I had to. The divine told me to. My higher self, God, my spirit team, Mark, those ancestors, everybody told me to do that. And they told me multiple times until I finally couldn't do it anymore. So if I can cut off the woman that unfortunately gave birth to me and stand in it and live a good life despite that, you can cut off that shitty ass man in your life and thrive. I promise. You'll be okay. you know? And another thing is I will notice when my energy is getting low and I shut down whatever I'm doing and I take time to replenish myself. I go inward and rest and retreat before my energy gets to zero. That way, I'm not trying to replenish from depletion. Anything that I give to y'all, I give from my overflow. That's me having a boundary with myself. But I don't want you to beat up on yourself about having a difficult time with this, because it's literally encoded in our DNA that women setting boundaries and standing up for ourselves and using our voice is not safe. Because it was not safe for millennia, for centuries, for thousands of years. Especially when it comes to men. Because we had to depend on them to survive. But you have to use your spiritual nervous system to override your physical one. And it takes a lot of work. Okay, but it is possible. And I still struggle with this, y'all. I'm not perfect. But I'm a hell of a lot better than I was. And it breaks my heart when I see other women saying that they feel fatigued, drained, siphoned, exhausted. Because it's such a paradox, you know? It's so fucked up because we're the life givers. We literally bring life to this planet. And people just want to take from you, especially if you're a spiritual woman and you have a lot of spiritual energy and gifts. People, even if they're not consciously spiritual, they see you as a battery, not as a human being. And I said this in part 1, and Hekate is wanting me to reiterate it. Relationships, especially intimate and romantic ones, are the biggest source of energy depletion for the feminine. That's the biggest energy leak for us. The emotional labor, the hell that these toxic men have on our nervous system is very depleting. And also the intimacy aspect, exchanging energies. You're giving him your spirituality and your good juju and your blessings, and in turn, he's filling you up, again, no pun intended, with his trauma and low-level vibes and pain and suffering and anger and all that. It's an uneven exchange. Okay? I hope this activates something in you. It is time. It is high time. I think with the fire horse here, these collective shifts are happening a lot quicker, but they're a lot more intense. Okay? And, it's something that needs to be fixed collectively. And it's one by one woman at a time. Because one woman standing in her power, holding her boundary, activating her voice, one woman showing up honestly and authentically and doing those things is enough to change millions of women on this planet. Because it shows them that they can do it too, and it is possible. All we need is an example. Because the feminine's gift is in who she's being. And who she is, her embodiment. And a good piece of advice that Hekate is saying right now in my ear is the best that you can, if you have children or even if you don't, have this mindset. Do not allow anything in your life that you would not want your future daughter to put up with. Because you're going to be her role model. You can't tell her, not to be in unequally yoked relationships or abusive ones but you're in an abusive relationship. She's going to be confused because she's like, well, you're telling me not to, but it works out for you, or it seems to, because you're still in it. You're going to confuse her. Yes, verbal teaching is important, but embodiment is the biggest teacher. I promise you, because it's a frequency that other person is able to connect to. Okay? I love y'all so much. If this dark feminine content resonated, check out my little intensive that I've created. It's module number 4 from my Destiny Swapping course, but it's standalone. It's the Dark Feminine Power Activation module, and it's a really good way for you to activate this energy within you. It's got inner work in there. It's got witchcraft and rituals that you can do with Hekate, in particular Hekate and Nadia, which is the mermaid siren aspect of Hekate. The dark feminine ocean energy that I channel. And then it's got spirituality and metaphysics in there as well. And it's just one module. It's an intensive. And if you're new to my work and you're thinking about getting the Destiny Swapping course, but you want to kind of see my teaching style and how I work, it's a great introductory offer. And you can find that at sirensnectar.com/power. It's $44. It's coming out July 10th. And it will be hosted on Teachable, just like my other courses, but it's only one module. Okay? And on July 10th, if you're signed up, I will send you your login info. And another thing I want to say that I haven't mentioned in my previous Destiny Swapping videos, because this work is evolving as I go, I'm going to set up the Destiny Swapping course to where it releases 6 modules at a time, every 3 weeks, every 21 days. Because I think when I first made the outline, it was 15 modules. Now we're at 21 or 22. It's evolving. Okay, it's very intense, very deep spirituality and inner work, and I don't want y'all to be overwhelmed. Okay, I know, girl, how annoying dealing with Destiny Swapping is, and I know how badly you just want to get to the end of it and be done with it. I totally understand. I've been there, okay? But I want to give y'all the information in a way that doesn't overwhelm you, and that is structured and contained so that you can actually integrate it and embody it, okay? Again, this is literally turning into a living body of work. And it's the deepest, most important, most transformative, most healing and cathartic for me work that I have ever done. It's knowledge that I've earned with my blood, sweat, and tears and suffering. And I'm transmuting all that into something for the feminine. Men can take this course too, but it's mostly catered towards women. So if you want to check out the course, go to sirensnectar.com/destiny. Afterpay is available at checkout. The early bird price is $1,333, and then on launch day at $333 on July 16th, the price will go up to $1,555. And most likely, if I keep adding to it, it's going to go up in price because it's a lot. And it's meant to be that way because it's very deep stuff, you know. And I'm packaging 4, 5, 6 years of lived, learned, and embodied experience, not bullshit from a book or another creator. No, it's mine. And everything that I'm giving y'all in this course, it works, or else I would not fucking be here. Okay? And as a Capricorn moon, I have a bad habit of not giving myself credit. And I just give it all to God and my spirit team and higher self and my godparents. But my spirits the last few days have been very clear, like, none of this runs without me. If I didn't do the inner work, if I didn't do the rituals, if I didn't take care of my spirits and my Bolvada, if I didn't, get adopted and go to ceremonies and all this kind of stuff, I wouldn't be here. I've done the work. Because I've been willing to invest in myself. And it pays in dividends. It compounds. So if I've done all that work, one of my boundaries is I will give to the collective for free, but after a certain extent, it needs to be compensated. And that's how I've been able to sustain my spiritual business for 6 years. By having boundaries. Okay? I will put all the links in the description and the pinned comment. Let me know what y'all think. I love you so much. I know a woman needs to hear this, and I want us to do better and feel better and be better. Okay? You need your dark feminine. Alright? Comment down below what your thoughts are, and I'll talk to you soon.